John Nadler, Brazil is cutting interest rates 75 basis points following India's lead. What does this mean for gold?
Yes, Greg, it looks like 2 out of the 4 BRICs are showing some cracks in the foundation. And of course, they'll do pretty much anything it takes to continue to grow. Generally speaking, this is not exactly good for gold because, in effect, it plays into the hands of dollar longs. And anything that's, overseas in terms of stimulus certainly does not help those countries' currencies, but it does bolster the dollar. So in that regard, I think, these rate cuts come at a time when growth is pretty sluggish in Brazil, China, India, and so on. And the locals are more concerned with keeping growth alive than with levels of inflation. So at the end of the day, I think this is dollar beneficial.
Will these rate cuts have any impact on Ben Bernanke and the Fed meeting next week?
Well, I think Mr. Bernanke has, bigger fish to fry at this point. Certainly, with 50% of his attention focused on employment and the other one on inflation, my guesstimate is that it's stayed the course and no drastic announcements, no real change in language. He has to be mindful of the fact that the external shocks from Europe or from Asia could impact the U.S. economy, but for the time being, for instance, he's already cautioned us that these employment numbers that we saw this morning, which are sort of unpleasant, to the upside as a surprise, would in fact happen because growth in employment will moderate after an initial bump that shook off the excesses of layoffs that took place previously. So he's very much concerned with, keeping a balance here. And I think what the others do at this point is probably not as important in policy making for the Fed as what's going on internally in the States, economically speaking.
This market is
stock tickers market.
Stocks have rallied this year.
We're coming into a Monday where we're going to